Hello there and welcome to my reaction to Company of Heroes 2 review, Historically Accurate Edition Trademark by said Zintach. I don't know if I've ever played Company of Heroes. Any of them. Have a distant memory that I might have, like a long time ago. But not a lot, or just not understanding what's happening because I didn't know English well enough. One or the other. Played or not. Doesn't matter. Let's watch this. Let's see what happens. Like, comment, subscribe if you want more later. Let's begin.
Hey, people. Seth here. Fellas, I gotta confess, I'm down bad. I got caught peeing in the sink. Now, I don't think that's weird. It's a victimless crime, just like punching someone in the dark. If the sink is so forbidden to urination, then why is it placed so perfectly, reducing my hesitation? But, I feel embarrassed. No, not because I did it, but because I got caught. I'm not gonna stop. I'll just get better. For the future, I'm gonna trick shot my stream around the sink bowl. That's a silent projectile. Effectively, I'm applying a suppressor to my gun barrel. That way, members of my family cannot ambush me so easily, and I will not be shamed by people who immediately revert to authoritarian fascist statements
What
such
is this
as,
about?
"We have two toilets. Why did you use the sink?" Listen, I saved water. I saved lives. Maybe a few decades from now, there'd be entire villages in sub-Saharan Africa singing songs of praise over how much water I saved. And you know what? All I had to do was unload my fire hose in a kitchen sink. Company of Heroes 2, strangely enough, is the topic of this video. It is an old game played by old men, namely us. Company of Heroes 2 is a squad-based RTS covering the events of World War II, a fictional war where Germany hired Hugo Boss to design their fashionable blitz of Europe, Russia managed to kill 24 million of their own people, and the US greatly increased the temperature of two neighborhoods in Southeast Asia. All this happened while the UK sat in a corner, still wondering why marching all your men single file into machine gun fire during World War I may impact their ability to participate in the sequel. Basically, a sequence of events so absurd that we depart from the realm of fiction into history. Everything seen here is not only real, it's historically accurate. Yes, the blast radius of a single grenade, approximately the same size as everything you love and cherish. Yes, the trajectory of a mortar shell, statistically, by a random chance, will always land perfectly on a soldier's head, killing at least 3 more. Yes, a machine gun will pin every squad on the map. That is, unless you own the machine gun, in which case it pins one enemy, gets flanked, and eats a Molotov to the face. Tanks counter infantry. Anti-tanks, or AT, counter tanks. But pray tell, what counters an anti-tank? Answer, the same tank driving towards you. Combat is a mystery. Sometimes the enemy calls in air support, pinning our infantry. So logically, I shoot them down. The burning plane crashes into my friend's base, taking out the rest of his infantry. Here is the largest tank in the game, the King Tiger. Notice, standard for vehicles of its time, the traditional German Ahegao paint job. One of the greatest features of this game is custom content, because when I pick a shitty anime faceplate, you get no choice in the matter. You're forced to download the same shitty anime faceplate, which, when inspected closely, reveals instructions on how to make meth. I believe Central Intelligence can employ this in the future. We join someone's game, forcibly download illegal content to their PC, and do a sting operation on their residence. If they start screaming civil liberties or probable cause, cite Penal Code 129, paragraph 27, subsection C, which states, anyone caught playing Hearts of Iron 4, Europa Universalis, or Company of Heroes 2 is probably a domestic terrorist. I also really enjoy setting my victory strike to FPS killer. I almost feel like it's an obligation. You see, one of my friends doesn't exactly have the best computer. This encourages him to play his very best, because if he loses, he's not just gonna lose the game. His PC will overheat and die, killing him in the explosion. But I'm getting off track. Gameplay. You produce units to capture and hold territory. The more territory you hold, the higher your income to spend on units and upgrades. Your objective is to either take and hold certain key positions or destroy the enemy HQ. Very simple. Infantry come in squads of 4 to 6. Each of these individuals can fight and die on the battlefield. But as long as the squad stays alive, you can replace your dead soldiers. This is infinitely cheaper than ordering a fresh new squad. This is a micro-intensive RTS where positioning matters. There's a cover system. 4 dudes hiding behind behind a cow isn't great, but it's better than getting capped in the middle of the street. Sandbags, broken vehicles, or even a domestic dwelling offer the best protection. However, terrain is dynamic. A tank shell can transform brick walls into brick memories. A howitzer pancakes buildings into rubble and any men inside into red stains. And artillery fire causes deformation of the soil, leaving craters that provide cover in the process. Basically, in 1941, we already knew how to terraform. We can take anything we see and make it worse. There's also ice. I don't really talk about it because having ice implies that you're playing a winter map, which nobody does because they suck. Ice breaks on impact. It's a great form of population control and a good way to lose your tank. Vehicles are a little different. In general,
that's how Russia won a couple of wars.
The distance, angle, size, wind resistance, conductivity, and horoscope of the ammunition against the horoscope of the armor determines damage. Most 88mm shells are made in June, making them a Cancer, while most of the bulk production of German armor was late September, making it a Libra. Cancer typically defeats Libra, unless Mercury is in retrograde, in which case all bets are off. A tank's armor is strongest at the front, which means the back and side is ripe for the taking. Fighting a tank directly is a terrible idea. Your shots won't do much if they even connect. You'll know true terror when you see every anti-tank gun shoot the same target, only to hear a characteristic ting, which means their front plate is so thick that every shell just bounced off. On the bright side, the heavier the tank, the slower it moves. So we flank, outmaneuver, and ambush them instead. And if that doesn't work, there's always the Soviet approach, where I take a T-34 and ram it into your tank. Yes, Germans have the best tanks, but the Soviets designed their gas pedal in reverse. Once you start the ignition, you press the pedal to stop the tank. If, hypothetically, your head has been blown off by shrapnel, your foot will release the pedal. The engine will accelerate and take out one of the best tanks in the world. And then you make another. Disclaimer, I don't know if this is true. My sources are some schizophrenic guy whose bathroom was red with chicken blood. And before you say, Seth, I don't think he sounds reliable, I'll have you know, he's a practicing doctor. Let's talk about the...
I don't think you sound reliable, Seth. I really don't think so. But I trust you anyway.
Races. There's 5 in total. First, let's talk about the bad guys. The British. I'm kidding. The Orcs are a defensive faction. They can lock down large areas of a map with emplacements, and their tanks feature some of the best armor in the game.
Oh, whoa. I never saw the decals close up. Yo, by the way, this is a normal British tank. This is a real Cromwell. Bro, this is real.
Everybody gangster until the Churchill starts vaping. They do temporarily suffer from a lack of manpower. That is, until you reach late game, where Saruman begins to command the very mud to rise up and reinforce your squads with Urukai. Goblins are going to give out gigantic loans with even higher interest to all of their allies. By the end of the war, I expect their banks to hold most of the gold on the planet. But in this game, they actually fight. They can spam their basic unit and never lose a single engagement because, unlike everybody else, they don't retreat. They just park an ambulance outside and spawn camp your base. If you even dare to counter them, they'll spam rangers instead. Homo Sovieticus. This game's release was met with heavy criticism from Russia, stating that portraying the Eastern Front as a slaughterhouse where civilians were conscripted to fight with a single lever-action rifle between 5 or 6 people was inaccurate because, by the time you get to use it, realistically, you're a group of free. In this game, the Russian army works much the same way. Everything and everyone is mass-produced and expendable. Our tanks are built like shit. Our men leave their homes with teary eyes, domestically abusing their wife one last time because they know full well they might not come back.
Damn.
The elves feature the 2 best vehicles in the game.
Poland.
The Kubelwagen, which has the highest RPM in the entire game. It also dies from a mild gust of wind, which makes keeping it alive all the more interesting. And this is a Sturmtiger. The gun is so huge that it must be reloaded externally by the crew for 30 seconds. And this is what it sounds like when it fires.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
Oberkommando Vest are highly mobile and aggressive. Their playstyle is
Decals
keep
are
pushing
great.
the front line
I
until
can.
you win, and occasionally send a Kubelwagen into their back line. And finally, we have the Germans. I don't like playing the Deutsch. Everything is incredibly bureaucratic, just like Germany. Oh nein, Entschuldigung, we have not escalated the battle phase. Please continue losing a little longer before we can authorize the countermeasure for what you're currently losing to. Wehrmacht has some of the greatest variety in units and tactics, but I am very bad at playing them. I'm highly emotional and unstable, so yes, this will affect my opinion. There's many ways
Fair
to play
enough.
this game.
I'm
Against
not-
AI, against players, 1v1,
gonna say
2v2,
much.
anything is possible. But let me tell you the worst way to play this game. 4v4 versus expert AI.
Heck, fucking 4 experts? Hell yeah, I'm ready to get butt pounded.
What do you mean butt pounded? This is joy. Do you not feel mirth?
Which is what we've been doing for the past few weeks. It's a bonding exercise, a form of collective suffering that brings us closer together. Allow me to summarize that experience.
Fucking miserable after that game. Damn.
Playing against expert AI is like you're Goku in a hyperbolic time chamber. You get so mad so fast. You're training years in just days. You're learning forms of anger that take decades to develop. My life is currently one of those Fortnite
Sure,
ships
now
you
watch
see around
Dragon
town.
Ball.
Except instead it says eat, sleep, scream, repeat. I fucking hate this game. I lied. It's not fun. You go in with hope. You come out a broken, hollow
It is an
husk
RTS.
of your former
I'm
self.
not a fan
but why?
to begin
Because
with.
expert gets everything you get, except double. Plus, perfect reflexes, map hack, and the ability to bend reality. You're going to be eating your first tank shell before 5 minutes into the game. You're going to make progress, only to see free red flares drop on top of you, undoing all of your progress. You're going to look away for a split second and see your whole squad disappear. You're going to play the game perfectly and still lose. In summary, Company of Heroes 2.
That does
hate
tend
it.
to happen
It's
in
great, but
strategies.
before I continue, consider the following. That purchasing a legitimate copy of the base game allows you to play only 2 of the 5 possible factions. That's right, you only
Russian
get
and
to play
German?
Wehrmacht and the Soviets. The rest is DLC. Surely that's not too bad, right? I mean, it's the least they can ask of us to buy the base game for $20 and then buy the other free races for $40. But wait, it gets better.
Well,
Most of the
60 is a
game
AAA
features are
game,
locked
right?
behind faction commanders, which can be purchased with money. For reference, an entire faction is the same cost as 4 commanders. However, and people are very quick to point this out, you could also earn them with in-game currency, using the greatest loot box ever made. I've played over 100 hours. Do you know the number of times I dropped currency free? Do you know how many more I need to earn a commander?
12?
27. I
Oh.
love simping for corporations. I love cash shops. I love that yummy high fructose corn syrup. I love the United Nations. With this in mind, I strongly encourage anyone interested to visit a third-party reseller instead. The copy you're looking for is the Master Collection.
I don't
This
know.
should include
You
all
could
the
also-
races, but instead of $60, you spend $15.
I'm
Yes,
tired.
I know everyone and their mother is scared of CD key resellers. I bought about 100 keys online. Every single one worked. Then I once bought a boxed copy of Fallout Tactics from the store,
Why?
which just had an empty case with a code inside. That code didn't work. So, from my experience, putting my trust in a random Polish stranger gives me better results. As always, more content to come.
never had a
so
problem
stay
with a
tuned.
key.
This video is a test to see how quickly I could churn something out. Turns out for creative output, in the absence of passion, vitriol is an entirely viable substitute. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
I know, RTSs look sometimes very good, but I'm never interested in playing them. I think some of this footage is the same. What? What did I... What is this? This is as confusing as the beginning of this video. fuck am I watching? Oh, child.
Let's go. Let's
It will now be issued to all new conscript squads.
Let's go, let's
Oh,
go,
no.
let's go. It hasn't even started. It hasn't even started, but this is like free.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe
You may be experiencing low frame rates because your settings are set to high.
Where'd it
Is
go?
my, is
Why
my
did you
shit
get
already
out?
destroyed?
Why did you get
Wait,
out of
what?
the tank? They just stole Strangelove's tank because he got out to repair.
Oh, by the way, do you want to see how booby traps in this game work?
No?
Booby
Oh, yeah.
traps.
boobies.
You shoot it.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh, no.
You hear of that woman that?
Oh, I don't
her
think that was
sister
the same
died of
game.
Only semen?
Your name's your mom.
It seems like they had fun playing it, so I can't judge.
Hey, hey,
What the fuck does the urination story have to do with anything? Can anybody tell me? Was that his punishment to play Company of Heroes 2 for 200 hours? Also buy it. Is that the punishment for you to be spotted while urinating in the sink? Is that it? What the fuck happened? This video is a blur in my memory and it just ended. I can't. I just don't know what to say. The beginning had nothing to do with this. The fucking vehicles, if I can call them that in the end, just broke my brain. And if it wasn't a Seth video, I probably wouldn't have watched this because this is an RTS, and RTS is like very, very low on my list of games I play. Like right there with MOBAs. And something else that I probably don't remember. I just don't play RTSs. I don't mind watching videos about them and like watching people play them. It's nice because RTS have like a thing going for them. But I enjoy some turn-based stuff. I enjoy thinking ahead of my moves, or just take it 3 years to make one. It's just more interesting to me. But I enjoyed this video anyway, because again, it is Seth. I don't think it was as unhinged as it normally is. Feels like he's on meds. Or maybe because it's this video he made with friends or whatever. Unless he does that every time. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, anybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.